Welcome teachers, it's Nicole with Let's Get Dramatic, and today we're going to go over my character design pages for costume and makeup. Sometimes I do a video showing me, but for this one we are just going to go ahead and get right into the book because it is the first week of school for us. We started 4 days ago and I am very busy, so I don't have as much time to put into the videos as I once did, but really the information is what's important. So this is for my interactive notebook, but I do have all of these activities as worksheets also, so that if you're not doing an interactive notebook, all of these lesson plans are still available to you on my Teachers Pay Teachers shop that I will link down below. For each of these different lessons that I do have an online interactive notebook for people that don't have access to a lot of paper at their schools. It is where they drag and drop the different elements, and all of my other units have this, but for this unit only, some of the designing that we do and the coloring and the artwork that we do, I could only think of a way to do it on paper. So for some of these lessons, you will see a little picture in the bottom corner showing the look of the online interactive notebook, which is just Google Slides that they can move things around on and type on and take all of their notes and stuff like that. But on some of the pages, it won't show up down in the corners because those are the lessons that I do not have a virtual way of doing the lesson. So if you are looking specifically for the online interactive notebook, just look down in the corners and you'll know which ones have them and then which ones don't, because it won't be there. So in the interactive notebook, I do have an additional coloring pages and coloring activities for them if they get done early. And then if their book looks really nice, for each of their units that we do, I give them a sticker for having it colored and done nicely in their book. And I talk about setting this up for stage management and how to set up a prompt book. And we use this as our example. And that is why I teach stage management first, because in that unit, I do create this and reference it as a prompt book where we keep our notes and things for the important parts of the show. So let's get right into it. If you purchase my full unit, you'll get this additional design page for the front. If you do the lessons, you will not get this page because this is just like a freebie that comes for purchasing the entire unit as a bundle. And if you do that, you get a free PDF that has a clickable link that allows you to print the entire packet, all of the pages and lesson plans in one go instead of going into individual folders and printing it out, just hopefully making it a little bit easier for you. But this is that first page in the full unit. I use this as a fast finisher. Anyone that gets done and is like, I'm bored with this activity, this is what they should be doing during the unit, making it look nice for our prompt book. But here is my theatrical character design overview. I do an overview with each of my units. I've also used these overviews previously when I had a drama club, when we would come and meet after school and we would go over all of the jobs in theater, script writing, lighting, setting, everything like that. And we would just do this. And then that can help them choose what classes they wanted to take from me in the future. And then we'd put on a little show all together as script writers, lighting designers, stage managers. It was really fun. It did take quite a while. It did take 3 months, and we met Tuesdays and Thursdays. But that is how I helped them choose what jobs they wanted to do if they were just being introduced to theater. And then I have this how to design for character design. And then we take notes right here. And these are the notes of hair, face, and costumes, what goes in to each of those. And then a little explanation for them of what we're doing in this assignment. Then we move into character design. And even though I do talk about it as character design because I want them to design the hair, face, and makeup for an entire character, and then we use that in our classroom plays or our after-school plays, whatever we're doing, I do separate it out because I know they're separate jobs and I want them to know that too. But for our small plays, we are going to have them design each their full own character. And so this kind of explains that right here. And then we have the time periods. So we talk about the details of the time period, the materials that were most used, and what they're most known for. And in each of these lessons, it includes a slideshow for the presentation and a video of me teaching it. I kind of set them up so that students can watch them at home or on their own if they're gone that day. But you can always watch it to see what I taught so that you can decide if that's the way you want to teach it or if there's alterations you want to make to the curriculum. And then I have the script. I also do a script in each of my units that is a different script that we analyze and create something for. This one is Midsummer Night's Dream. So I do have this shortened version of Midsummer Night's Dream, and it kind of gives them an overview of what's going on. But because I teach middle schoolers, and this breaking down Midsummer Night's Dream into this short of a play is pretty hard, and I just used a few of the characters, I want them to understand the overall idea of each of the plays that we do. So for Midsummer, because it's so intense and so many plot lines, I have a little description of what's in the show and what's happening during the show that I read to them the day that I start this assignment. And so I read that to them at the beginning of class for their hook, and then they read the script with the lines that I've written, because they're not going to pick up any of the subtleties in the script with just being so young. They'll get the idea of it. But I do want to make sure that I'm introducing them to the plays as we go through tech unit and helping them learn how to deconstruct them. And then with the script, I use the script for the next several lessons. I use it for sketching the makeup look. So these are blank on their pages and then on the slides. And then I have my students have colored pencils to the side of their paper. And then during the slideshow presentation, it shows them what to color for the lowlights, for the highlights, how to do the different designs. And then right here, they color these ones as practice, and then they draw their own designs on these dotted spots up here. And these fantasy looks, I give them these 4 faces and they can design their own fantasy look. And then we have a bunch of different hairstyles. Let me move my book. Different hairstyles so that when they're doing their full design, they can kind of reference this page and see how they would draw the different hair. There is some slideshows showing them how to do this, but this is not what I want them to focus on for Tech 1, even though in Tech 2 we do get a little bit more into that. And then after they read the script and they choose their character from the script, they're going to design a makeup look for it. This is not from the script. This is what I used for one of my extras, the Fire Phoenix Fairy that was in Titania's camp. And I used it for my drama class, talking about how to create a unique extra character that has their own being, even though they're just an extra in the show. So that is where this character came from. I didn't want to give them any hints in here, so I did use that one for this. And then I have a page of 3D texture for costumes. So it looks like this, and you can see it fades up into the top. They're going to draw all of this in pencil first and practice doing it, and then they're going to color it in so that they can learn how the pencil moves and the colors move for texture. So up at the top, they're practicing their own textures, and down here, it kind of guides them a little bit more. But I do expect them to practice down here before they move up into the top. After they do this part of the assignment with creating the texture, then they're going to create their own full look for their character. I do keep it consistent and have them use the script and the same character as they were doing the makeup design for. They do not have to color the makeup design part, but I did include the face because a lot of them really like to put the whole look together. And then I talk about in my presentation, the slideshow, how to annotate the page so that they can have little notes on the side for their design. And then after that, we talk about analyzing who the character is that they've gotten assigned or that they've chosen in their script. And they're going to create 3 different looks based on different scenarios that they have for this character. On this page that they get, I do have an additional assignment page that gives them a bunch of different options for the things the characters could dress up for. And then they would write down what they dress up for on this top part right here. And then the assignment is to create the character breakdown. And then they're going to pick 3 scenarios. It doesn't have to be from this page, but they can choose anything from that page also. And they're going to design the looks on this paper. But for this one, I do expect them to do the hair and makeup because in the different settings, we want a little bit of a different feel or look to what they're doing. And they write down their jobs right here. So I did outdoor adventure, job interview, formal wedding, and then we talk about what we do to create continuity with character and be able to let the audience know that the character is the same character throughout the entire show. So This part right here is a little bit of extra credit that I give my students. They don't have to do a boyfriend, but they can. They can create another scenario with a design or create a sister or mom or anything like that. I chose the boyfriend because she was going to be going to the formal wedding at the end of the show, and I wanted her to have a partner for that. So this is the character, and we talk about how you know if people are friends or enemies in the play and the colors they choose. So that is what we do for that assignment. And I haven't really mentioned this yet, but some of these take several days to complete. So it kind of says on my plans what days I do each of these things. I do push them pretty quickly. This is a pretty big assignment, and I give them, I think, 3, maybe 4 days for it. You can always do more or less depending on what your schedule allows. And then we go into measurement practice. So I've got a ruler that comes with the paper right here. They cut it out, and then they're going to do the measurements. I did try to make it equal to also a regular ruler. I did have it attached to the page so that no matter if you're printing the page a little bigger or a little smaller, it should line up to be the same answers for all of these. And then I have my students put tape over their ruler, and then we keep it in our books in the pocket at the front. But if you're not going to have your students keep it, you don't need to laminate it with tape. I just did. I put washi on the back of mine so that it was cute. But of course you don't have to do that. And then here is the notes page right under here. So we talk about all the notes of what all of these measurements are for with pictures and how to do them appropriately with actors so that you're not being inappropriate or getting too close to them in any of these situations. And then we have the run of the show. So I go over hair and makeup and then wardrobe. In the run of the show, we talk about the different jobs on this page and dressing room etiquette. This inside page, we talk about hair and makeup like tech week, show maintenance, post-show removal, and then strike. And then over here, tech week prep, maintain strict organization, daily maintenance and laundry, backstage emergency kit, and then strike and storage. And then they can color in those pages if they have time. The other thing that I do that is not in this book is in some of my classes, if we have an extra day, I do have them sew on a button. I bought a pack of buttons from the dollar store, like really big buttons. They're like that big. And then we just watch a little video and they practice sewing their buttons onto felt that we put their names on. So I do that. And then the back of each of these units has a blank page. And that is because I have them write a reflection right here of what they liked, what was frustrating about the unit, about the job, and if they would want to do it in the future. So that is how I do my makeup and costume designs right here. If you have questions, feel free to ask them down below. I will answer them as much as I can. I am also a teacher, so I do have more time during the summer to work on this stuff than I do in the school year, especially when the play gets going. We all know that is just craziness, but awesome craziness. So this is what I do, and I hope that helps. I will link this unit as the interactive unit down below, and also I will link the worksheet unit down below. And all of these lessons you are also able to purchase as an individual activity lesson so that you don't have to commit to the entire unit. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to continue getting updates from me, go ahead and subscribe and turn your notifications on because I do not post all the time. I just do not have time for that. And so if you want to see when I have new products coming out, click that button. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support. And I hope some of these lessons will help you. Thanks.